Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Zelda Cast here on ZeldaDungeon.net. My name is Andy Spiteri, joined by Allison Aletha. How are you on this lovely, lovely Sunday? And I don't mean that just literally, or figuratively, rather. Literally, it is like plus 10 outside for me. I don't know what that is in American for you, but it's gorgeous.
Um, this morning it looked like winter, like gross gray
It
bleh.
looked gray, but it's nice over in my neck of the woods, like
To be fair, I
temperature-wise.
haven't I haven't gone out since this morning or looked out the window, so it looks a little sunnier. But yeah, it was just kind of like cold and meh. But yesterday was gorgeous. So I don't know. I feel like it's an every other day kind of weather situation here. We still haven't had any snow.
Wow.
Yeah, we don't get a lot of snow, but it's kind of nice when you get like one a day or two so you can see it and it's pretty.
Okay. There's definitely snow outside, but it's like warm snow, like it's not like it's not like freezing here. It's just kind of like warm snowball weather snow that you get. So it's
Weird.
it's nice. It's nice here.
Uh-huh.
Okay, everybody. Well, we are here today. We had a show planned, but we're gonna punt it till next week. And we're just gonna have a light and easy show today. We're gonna answer some daily debates. I feel like a little. I don't know if under the weather is like the right term. Like I don't feel sick. I feel just like I feel tired. I felt tired like all week. So maybe I'm getting sick. I don't know. But we're recording a little bit later. Allison was nice enough to put off some of her day. So I'm gonna suck this episode, but Allison's gonna make up for it by being awesome. So there we go.
I'll do my best.
Yeah. So yeah, we got a pretty light show ahead of us here. Just a couple of daily debates answered. I do have a couple things that I do want to go over, and we're gonna start off with next Sunday. Next Sunday, I am going to be playing Metroid in the MetroidHQ Marathon. So
Ooh.
twitch.tv/MetroidHQ. It is going to be for charity, and give me a second, I'll pull up exactly where it's going. But I'm going to be playing at 9 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Mountain Time, 11 Central, and 12 Eastern. So if you want to come and tune in, watch me play NEStroid on the Nintendo
12
Entertainment
Eastern,
System.
huh? On my end, Andy has frozen.
Oh no, I'm talking. Can you hear me, Al? Oh, well, there we go. That's the kind of show this is going to be today. Okay,
Dang,
um,
we are in it today.
we are in it. I was like, I'm not frozen. What are you talking about?
You were so frozen, but like
Oh
I was
boy.
still usually I freeze and I'm like, it wasn't me this time, but on your end you
Yeah,
were
and
fine.
and usually you freeze in here as well. So this is what kind of show this is going to be today, folks. We're starting off on
We're
the right note.
starting late. We're with like having
We got
technical
technical
difficulties.
problems.
But this is goes to show like we're determined we are to
Yes.
give everybody an episode
No,
because
no
we
matter
could just give
how
up.
no matter how rapidly things are falling apart here, okay? It doesn't matter. Okay, it doesn't matter if cats come on stream or babies come on stream or people freeze. We are going to give you a Legend of Zelda podcast, okay? So yes, let's God, what were we talking about? Oh, we were talking about the charity.
Metroid
So
HQ.
yeah, next week, Metroid HQ is going to be happening. It is happening. Actually, it's going to start on Wednesday, January 14th. It's going to go to Child's Play Charity, twitch.tv/Metroid HQ. There is like a bunch of other cool stuff going on as well. Lots of races, lots of like different segments. The voice actress for Samus in Metroid Other M is showing up. So that's going to be a lot of fun, I think. So yeah, it's going to be really fun. Tune in to see yours truly doing the race, and hopefully I don't make a fool of myself playing Nestroid. Have you ever played Nestroid, Al? Something tells me that you have not.
I've only ever played Super Metroid, so no.
Well, I will tell you what. If you want to experience someone playing Metroid for the first time, patreon.com/spnet. Gooey Plays Metroid Season 1 has finished. And actually, Goo and I got together yesterday and we recorded a new episode of GUI Plays Metroid. We talked about Metroid Prime 4, and we recorded a new Zelda Cast XL, which, hey, if you're on Patreon, might as well check that out too. We've got Zelda Cast XL, we have got the Zelda cartoon episodes, Zelda Cast Top 10s, other like shows over there as well, Captain N. Maybe one day we'll get the Donkey Kong series over to Patreon as well. So lots of good stuff over there. And if I do say so myself, some really great episodes of Middle Earth, the podcast, forthcoming that we have recorded this week. It's funny. When we started these shows, I was like, okay, 30 minutes is the time limit.
Hard cutoff.
After 30 minutes, no more. I don't think we've done a singular show that was 30 minutes, except for like maybe the first one.
The first one?
Maybe.
I love that. I feel like it's really hard. There's so much content
Yes.
and so much information and three people who want to discuss it, you know? So it's really hard to stick to a 30-minute time limit. I don't think it's very easily done.
Especially not when you have the likes of Aletha, Richmond, and Spiteri all in one booth. It can definitely run a little bit longer, but lots. Like GUI was asking me actually, so I'm going to give a preview of what we talked about here, just for any Lord of the Rings fans to to just get a taste of what might be in store for them. We had a couple of really great discussions yesterday, Friday, sorry, I should say. We talked about our favorite moments from the second age of Middle-earth, which is actually a lot harder than you might think. We talked about our least favorite characters and our favorite characters from all three ages of Middle-earth. We did a Lord of the Rings inspired Am I the A-hole, which was a lot of fun. And we have like shows in the bank previously of topics such as like what a Silmarillion movie would look like, what are our favorite moments from the first stage, thought experiments about like had this happened differently, what would happen, our favorite moments that the books did better than the movies and vice versa. Lots of cool stuff here. We reviewed Tales of the Shire as well. So lots of cool stuff if you're a Lord of the Rings fan. And I'm going to give you a tease, okay? Our next episode is going to be our ideal Lord of the Rings video game. GUI said this to me. He said that a friend pitched this idea to him, and I think you're going to love it. And I'm going to give it away for free on this show right here. You ready?
Okay, yeah, let's go.
Lord of the Rings Warriors.
Okay, I was gonna bring that up.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
See, so when we do record that episode, I feel like I've only ever played Two Towers on GameCube and then also like Tales of the Shire. But I don't have a lot of experience with Lord of the Rings or Middle-earth video games. So I was talking to my brother a little bit and I was like, what about like a warrior style? And then I had another suggestion that I'll bring up in that episode. And he said to me, as long like it's really important that it's something that doesn't have a lot of already like lore heavy information, because some of the games that have come out since have changed lore, and it was really frustrating to some fans. And I was like, oh, interesting, I did not know that. So
I think he's
yeah.
talking about Shadows of Mordor specifically.
Yes, I think he was, yeah.
Celebrimbor. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would always be a fan of a game trying something a little bit different, but that is just what you can anticipate if you are thinking about joining the Ultra tier on patreon.com/SBNet and checking out Middle Earth, the podcast. Okay, enough shilling, Al. Are you ready for some daily debates? You know what? I'm sorry. Actually, we got to do just like a touch more shilling. I'm so sorry.
Oh, okay.
Next week, next week is the return of Hyrule Historia. Speaking of lore, the lore deep dive show where we dive deep into lore.
Wow.
Good pitch. Yeah, very very poetic. Yes, that is going to be back. It is going to be a very touchy subject, I think, that a lot of people have wondered about. So, really excited for that one.
Topic. Yeah, I'm excited for it too. We were thinking about doing it today before, stuff kind of hit the fan, but like I was like, man, there's a lot about it that I just am not ready, I don't think. So I'm glad we are setting it aside for next week, and I'm looking forward to that discussion, though.
There we go. Okay. Do you have any shilling to do before I falsely say that we're done shilling?
Nope, because I don't do anything outside this show. So.
Okay. All right. Well, let's do it. We are here to answer daily debate questions, and as always, our writers have come in absolutely clutch for us by providing us content here. Let's start off with the most recent daily debate that was just published, like literally probably about 40 minutes ago. This is from my pal Jared Eubanks, who just finished Metroid Prem 4. I've been talking to Jared a lot lately. The debate is: can you love Breath of the Wild and Link to the Past? Can you love them both at the same time? Um,
uh, what does that mean?
I don't know actually. I'm just kind of looking to what Jared may be saying. This is definitely longer than your average daily debate here. I think what the crux is, and I'm gonna paraphrase, but I think what the crux is that Jared is asking, can you still love like the newer open world Zeldas and the older, like smaller contained Zeldas? And I think like the answer is like definitely yeah, right? Like
Yeah, if the question is like, we've evolved so much to the point where we got to Breath of the Wild, and it was so innovative and revolutionary to the Zelda series and like Nintendo consoles. Does that take away the love that one might feel for A Link to the Past because it had a similar like kind of vibe back in, when did this game come out? 1992.
mhm.
If that's the question, I think yeah, I think absolutely. Like it depends, of course, on I think the age of the fan. I feel if you're coming in as a fan from Breath of the Wild and you're kind of playing some of these older games and you're like, this is not really my style because of such open world games that we have now and today. I feel like that's fine, but like a lot of us that grew up with Zelda, and like for me, A Link to the Past was my first game. I feel like you can equally, well, maybe not equally, but you can easily love both of them for what they did for the series, what they did for gaming overall, and yeah, I don't think that's a tough feeling to have.
I feel like even if you're 18 years old, played Breath of the Wild, that was your first Zelda game, you can still love Link to the Past. Like it's an exceptional game.
Right. I just
Yeah,
mean, like, I feel like some people maybe will go back to those games and are like, this isn't my thing. It's just a little bit old school. You know what I mean? Like,
totally. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Well, like they're different flavors of ice cream. You know, like it's
Yeah, true.
some days I feel like chocolate ice cream, and some days I feel like I'm not a big ice cream guy, to be honest with you. Cookies and
Okay.
cream, ice cream.
This
I was
is like
struggling a little bit there.
I feel like this is a good way to put how I feel about the 2D Zelda games, because we were talking about that with the best Zelda ever
Yeah,
list. And like I know that mint chocolate chip ice cream is an exceptional flavor for a lot of people. It's just
not
not
me.
my favorite. You
Let me
don't
tell
like
you,
mint chocolate chip?
I don't really like mint stuff in particular, except for gum. I like mint flavored gum, but like if it's mint chocolate or
You
mint
don't
like
like the
flavored,
little Andes chocolate that you get at restaurants or like Olive Garden?
no.
Oh, lame. Those
I
are
haven't
so
been to
good.
Olive Garden in a hot like 20 years, to be fair.
Oh, you weren't there that year. We went to Olive Garden for the team dinner after the marathon.
I
Maybe
was
next
there when we
year we'll
went to
have to.
the peanut infested Chinese food restaurant.
Yeah, that was last year.
That
Yeah.
yeah, that was Gooey tried to save me, and I didn't listen. But anyways, yeah, I mint ice cream not for me. Tiger ice cream definitely the absolute worst flavor. That stuff was
But
gross.
the point is still there. Like that's not
Yes,
my favorite ice cream flavor, but I know if it was there, I'd have it, and I know it's exceptional for a lot of people. So,
you like it to be there if you're going to an ice cream shop. You like to have
yeah.
options. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yes, I think you can absolutely love them both. I don't know if monogamy in Zelda is something that we need to consider. I don't know. Maybe you can't love them both at the same time. You play one and then you play the other. I don't know. Let's just move on.
I feel like it's clear from the best Zelda ever list that a lot of people have the same love for one Zelda game that they do for another. So it's okay.
There you go. Okay, this is from Heather. Do the Hyrule Warriors games have too much content? So, to my surprise, Al, I was reading the comments of this, and almost everybody said no, they don't have too much content. And I just, I guess my thought is this: from my personal vantage point, I do think that they have too much content. However, like, and I guess I was thinking about it, and I'm like, is it that they have too much content, or is it that all the content that there is not engaging and it's like filler content? Because like you reach that point pretty quickly where like you can do your main story missions and that's fine, but like you have all of these extra missions, and some of them are like, they're not all created equal. Like some of them are pretty in depth and they're pretty cool, but like a lot of them, let's say I'm gonna ballpark like 60 to 70% of these extra missions are just like, you go in, you fight a couple of enemies, you fight like a boss enemy, and that's it. And it's like less than 5 minutes, and you're doing it just to check it off your list. So if you're doing it just to check it off your list so that you can kind of crawl towards 100%, then I'm kind of like, yeah, this is probably too much content. Like, it doesn't need to be here. It feels like padding. I certainly felt that way about Age of Imprisonment with all of the side quests and stuff like that. I thought that was like just that was there. I felt like really to stretch the gameplay. So I think my answer is still yes, but if the missions were different or more engaging, I'd probably feel differently.
I think I agree with you in the same vein. I think there's not enough important content. I feel like there was so much, I want to say there was like a lot more story and like explanation and like understanding of characters in Age of Calamity than there was in Age of Imprisonment. Age of
Yeah.
Imprisonment, the farther I get away from it, it feels rushed. It feels like they just kind of threw it together and were like, here's what everybody's been asking for in the most like generic way possible. And I know like it's so weird to say like I got what I wanted, but like just on a very shallow level. And I'm just like, all this extra stuff that you have us doing on the map could have been accomplished by giving us more compelling missions that gave us like story content, you know? Like there's one less chapter. Actually, there's like two less chapters because really it goes to chapter 5 and then chapter 6 is,
Final
am I
battle.
remembering this right? Like barely even it just bleeds
The
right into it. You don't
chapter,
even get
yeah,
to
it
collect
bleeds
it.
right in, and it's one battle.
Yeah. And so there's like two less chapters. There's like it's just the information is so rushed. So like the content for me is like if it's content that I find that I'm willing to put work into, it there's not enough. And in particularly Age of Imprisonment. And
Yeah.
I feel like Calamity did okay, especially with the addition of the DLC and introducing like some awesome extra characters. I think that was like good extra content. Whereas Age of Imprisonment felt rushed, small content, crap characters that like we don't care anything about
Yeah.
to flesh out the roster, and then you do all this like side stuff on the map, which wound up being fun at the end of the game. But honestly, as soon as like I turned it off and tried something else, I had no desire to go back to it. Even though it's fun when you're in it, I literally have no desire to 100% this game when I did 100% Age of Calamity. So
Yeah.
I think it just depends on the game. Age of Imprisonment did not have enough content for me.
It did not. It did
Meaningful,
not. I
important.
mean, okay, because
Yeah.
yeah, like I would agree. Like Age of Calamity felt like it was like I feel like there was just as much content, but it didn't feel like as much of a slog. And again, that's probably down to like you can at least mix and match your characters a little bit more. Where like for me,
Hmm.
I was the same 8 characters in Age of Imprisonment just because I didn't want to play as like Quizno and Doofus the Goron or whatever.
Hmm.
Um, so like, do they have too much content? I guess like if you're looking for a black and white answer, the answer is no. But the content that's there just is not engaging, so it's like you don't want to do it. But I even with like Age of Imprisonment though, I'm gonna say yes. Like that, a lot of that was just like padding, and especially the side missions I felt like were like extra egregious. So
Hmm.
okay, let's stick on Age of Imprisonment here for a second. This is from Jackson Leduc. Does Hyrule Warriors where does Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment rank within the Zelda series? Okay, so let's just do this best Zelda ever style. We're gonna have all the
Yeah.
spin-offs in there. Games that we can definitively say are worse than Age of Imprisonment. I am going to say obviously Triforce Heroes is worse.
Hmm.
I I will probably slot the original Hyrule Warriors just under. I could be talked into Four Swords, and I think that's it, Al. I think I would be really low on Age of Imprisonment. I actually don't even know if I would put the original Hyrule Warriors under Age of Imprisonment, if really thinking about it.
I have the original Hyrule Warriors at 18 from last year because this year we didn't do the spin-offs in the list. So I'm
Right.
looking at my list last year. So I had it at 18. And I had Age of Calamity at 16. I would definitely put it below the OG Hyrule Warriors because I at least have fun playing that game,
Yeah.
and it doesn't have leave a sour taste in my mouth. I think I'd rather play the Oracle games. I'd rather play Cadence. I'd probably put it at 22, which would be above Triforce Heroes, Four Swords, and Adventure of Link.
Right now, definitively, all I can tell you for sure is that I would put this, like, I'd put Age of Imprisonment above Triforce Heroes. I would have to really think about the other games. It would be probably like a bottom three Zelda game for me.
Yeah.
Which, funny enough, I'm going to say, I think that Age of Imprisonment has actually made me kind of the pendulum swing the other way on Age of Calamity. Age of Calamity left a sour taste in my mouth for a long time, but like I had fun playing it, and I just like I'm gonna take like the Age of Calamity approach over the Age of Imprisonment approach every single time, where it's just like at least they told an engaging story that wasn't canon. Yes, they lied to us, and yes, that still does leave a bitter taste in my mouth, but I feel like I retroactively appreciate Calamity a little bit more now after, the disaster that was, at least in my eyes, Age of Imprisonment. Age of Imprisonment, I felt like was one of the weakest Zelda titles that I've ever played.
Yeah, I would say I agree. I know, like, you were discussing what Mossy said, and that it was, like, by a mile the worst Zelda game there ever
No,
was, or whatever. And I don't agree with that, but, like, it's still definitely, like, it'll be interesting to see next year if we do include the spin-offs back into Best Zelda Ever, because it will be, like, monumentally low on my list. If we're just doing the spin-offs, it would probably be bottom of my list.
yeah, I mean, it might be for me. Like I'd have to. You know what? One thing I'm going to commit to soon is like replaying. Oh my god, replaying the OG Hyrule Warriors. I put, God, I don't know, like a decent amount of hours, like 20, 25 hours into the game, enough to know that I did not like it at all. But like I
Hmm.
didn't put as much into that as Age of Calamity and Age of Imprisonment, so maybe I do need to do that. But yeah, it would be really low on my list.
Hmm.
All right, let's move on to Shakel. Which canceled Zelda game do you wish we would have gotten? So there you go. I feel like I don't exactly know like which Zelda games were officially like canceled or not. The one that obviously comes to my mind, and the one that I think that we could actually still get is Oracle of Secrets. Like that's kind of the big one, I feel like. I guess that there was a sequel to Twilight Princess. There was like obviously the Capcom remakes of Zelda 1 and 2, which kind of morphed into the Oracle games. I mean, I think like Oracle of Secrets is probably the one though, right? I can't recall any other like I can't recall any other Zelda games that were just straight up canceled. So probably be Oracle of Secrets. I guess that there was like talk that they were going to do a sequel to the Wind Waker, which I mean we did get with Phantom Hourglass, but like a proper sequel to the Wind Waker. But Oracle of Secrets, I think, is the one for me. What about you, Al?
Yeah, that's the one that I instantly thought of. I think there was like I don't know if it was canceled or even an idea. It was just like murmurs, I think, of a Chic game. But I feel like that would have been interesting and compelling. But yeah, the only thing that really came to mind that I feel like was actually something they were considering was Oracle of Secrets, and I
Yeah,
feel like that would have been really cool and probably could still happen in the future.
I think it will. To be honest, like this might just be me falling in love with my own idea again. So maybe I should brace myself. But I
Yeah.
like everyone wants a remake of the Oracles, which would be great. I think it might be better like because those games are still totally they're tight, they're fun, they look great. They sound like whatever they sound like, but I think like do it in Link Between Worlds style and just have like the remake, quote unquote, with the same kind of worlds that you can go between, but new story, new characters, called Oracle of Secrets, and bada bing, there you go,
Mm-hmm.
easy
Mm-hmm.
peasy.
Yep.
Okay, how about this one? How about this one? This is from Daisy Crossfield. Should Link keep his piercings in future Zelda installments?
Yeah. I don't feel like there's a lot to debate in this one. I feel like that's kind of a staple of how Link looks, and we've seen them become like items in games like Skyward Sword, so like useful items, that help him do stuff. So I think, yeah, why not? I don't see anything wrong with them.
He should get more piercings.
That'd be cool.
He should get like the one that goes in between like the bridge of your nose.
I
There's
don't
like
know
the
about
balls
that.
on either sides. No.
You know what? If we get the Cyberpunk Zelda, then sure.
Okay.
That feels very
That
cyberpunk to me.
he can get those stretch earrings actually. That
No.
well, hold on. Those could look really good. I think in the right
Mm,
setting.
I feel like every person that I know that has gotten those have regretted it, and I even have a friend who's like, "I'm getting surgery to fix this." So, no thanks.
I wonder how much rupees that would cost, Link, to do
Yeah.
that. Okay. This is from our pal, executive editor extraordinaire, Cora Burton. Does Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment feel like it tells a serious story? Yeah, I think it feels like it's a serious story. I think it's just maybe not that great of a story.
Yeah, it's a serious story that I can't take seriously.
Good way to put it. Good way to put it. I mean,
It's
you're
just
you're
like
totally
it's
right.
so
Like those
rushed.
those four geeks that you have to fight, like the four Grim Goma or
Oh
whatever.
yeah.
I like that to me was so cheesy.
I was like
Um,
excited about it when we were first fighting Grimgara, and then I was like, "Oh, they're voice acted. He sounded interesting." And then the rest just like sounded like crap and were wimpy. And well, which one was it? Grim Turok or whatever, the Muck Turok one. I thought he was like he didn't sound interesting, but I loved like the fact when you get the muck away and it's like a complete like he's all like Girahim looking. I thought that was kind of cool.
yeah. It tells a serious story for sure, but it is you nailed it. Like it's hard to take it seriously because of like how like sometimes it's just straight up bad. Other times it's just like there are compelling times in this story, but like I don't know. It's a very inconsequential story. So you're just like okay, like yeah, you take it seriously, sure, but like it's not worth much. I'll say that.
Yeah, I mean, of course, it's like a serious tone too. Like everything that happens is pretty, hardcore. Like this dude comes in, kills your queen, takes over, makes the whole world red, basically. You're all in hiding, and then having to fight back against these monsters and hordes, and they're not dying, and so like I get it, and I feel like it's just lacking more substance, like deep substance, to make it more compelling. I keep saying this, and I will keep saying it. It's so surface level, and it's just disappointing. It's like just barely scratching, barely carving anything out of the wood, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. Like the single biggest like thing that this story adds is like is Calamo the tree stump or is he the Great Deku Tree? And I think that's an indictment on the story of this game.
Mhm.
It feels like, I mean, I don't know what's going on. I feel like within the last couple of years, it's like I feel like Nintendo has forgot how to tell a good story. Like there have been all these games that have come, like Metroid Prime 4, as a classic example. The story's horrific. Like Age of Calamity, I thought was a miss. Donkey Kong Bonanza is kind of like, eh. And then listen, like I know that we don't play a lot of these games for story, but like I feel like the story is like something that matters and I take seriously, and it feels
Mhm.
like sometimes like Nintendo doesn't take it seriously, or they're just like careless with how they do it. So I really hope that this tightens up, particularly in like these big series that have like this narrative that you have people kind of invested in. Because yeah, this was a miss for me. Um, let's go on. This is from Shaquille Herbert, and her next question is: which Zelda game do you want remade with voice acting?
I got an easy one for that.
Let's just assume, by the way, this is going to be really good quality voice acting, because I can
Yeah,
hear people already be like, none of them because the voice acting's not good. All right, whatever. Like, let's just assume that it's great acting.
I got an easy one.
I think we're probably the same.
Skyward Sword.
Skyward Sword.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably got the best, one of the best Zelda stories, the most compelling story. You really feel for Link and Zelda. I think Girahim being voice acted would be incredible.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember, was it Zelda Universe that was doing a like a voice acted series for these Zelda games? And I'm pretty sure they did Skyward Sword. And I don't know who played Girahim, but he actually did like an exceptional job. And that was just like, website personalities voice acting instead of actual professional voice actors.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I shouldn't say that because I don't
Some of
know
them
the guy.
were like professional
Okay.
voice actors.
Yeah.
I'll say.
I didn't know that. So like take back what I said. But what I'm saying is like if we put the money and the time into it, I feel like Skyward Sword would have like a really awesome story to voice act.
Yep. Skyward Sword. I'll pick a different game because I'm totally with you. That I feel like that is like you can very easily picture like voice acting carrying like some of those key scenes and making them even more emotionally like resonating. I think that Ocarina of Time would be a great one to have voice acting, like especially the creation myth and like the Great Deku Tree, Ganondorf. Ditto for Majora's Mask. I think that would be a really good one.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, like, frankly, like a lot of them would be totally fine to have voice acting in, but I'm trying to think where voice acting would augment the game to a higher level. Skyward Sword, I feel like, is definitely that, and I think that, yeah, I guess I'll stick with those other two games. Although I will say, I do think, while the amount of voice acting would probably be minimal, I think that it would be really great to have voice acting in Link's Awakening, like especially for Link and Marin. Like those scenes would
Hmm.
be really great.
Yeah. Yep. I agree.
Okay, let's go on. This is from our fearless leader, Rod Lloyd, and Rod asks, which Zelda game has the best credits sequence? And this was inspired by him talking to Mossies, and Mossies was very adamant that A Link to the Past had the best credit sequence. He might not be wrong. It's a great credit sequence, but I think I have
Um,
a different answer. What about
I
you?
honestly am trying to just remember all the credit sequences in the series. It's hard to remember. I feel like I like Ocarina of Time where you're just kind of going back through all the areas that you visited and you're seeing some people get maybe a little bit of resolution. And then
Yeah.
same with Majora's Mask. I mean, the butler with his son always gets to me. Um, I don't even remember Skyward Sword's credit sequence. I'm thinking of like Wind Waker with the bubbles. Um, yeah, it's hard to remember all of them, but maybe Majora's Mask sticks with me the most.
I was gonna say Majora's Mask. You finally see the wedding between Andrew and
Yeah.
Cafe. Just yeah, like getting closure with a lot of these characters that you've kind of struggled with over the course of Majora's Mask. I think that is a really nice ending credit sequence. I think like A Link to the Past would be up there. Obviously, Ocarina of Time. Yeah, you're right. I don't really remember Skyward. If I am remembering correctly, and someone,
Oh, I
I think
just
it's just
remembered
like
it.
montage of the game, isn't it?
Some of it is Zelda's part of the adventure. Some of it is like her part of being like down on the surface. If I remember right. Don't they show some of her scenes?
Maybe they did. I'm picturing just like a couple of moments here and there from the game. I will
Mhm.
say like the music of Skyward Sword's ending credits is incredible, but I feel like
Yeah.
it usually is in all these games. Like it's usually just a
Mhm.
medley of all the themes. I
And then
uh I can't think of
Breath
Breath of
of
the
the Wild
Wilds.
Breath of the Wild and Tears it's mostly just music with stills of like of scenes that you had seen and
Yeah,
characters you had met. So like it doesn't have, and then you get like a end credit scene kind of like a la Marvel, but like that I don't know if that counts as like credit sequence. I don't think it does. But like the credit sequence in those two games is usually just the credits rolling and then stills of the imagery you've seen in the game.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good contenders, but I think I'm going to stick with Majora's Mask.
I think so too. I agree.
Okay, this question is from Evan Hahn. Which Zelda game took the biggest swing? The biggest swing.
And like landed or missed or just in general?
I think just in
Regardless.
general, like
Okay.
it went for something different, something big, something bold, and maybe paid off, maybe didn't. I can think so immediately. There were 5 titles off the top of my head that I thought of.
Wow.
What
I
about
just thought of one.
what was yours?
Skyward Sword.
I thought of Skyward Sword. Yeah, yeah,
Just because of the motion controls and like how integral they are in the gameplay. I feel like even when I first played the game, I struggled a little bit. I think I got to a specific puzzle and I was super annoyed about it and I just stopped playing. And then of course when I played it again later, like a few years later, and I did that puzzle again, I was like, "Oh, this was so easy. I don't know why I got so frustrated." But
hmm
like I just think they really took such a leap with that to the fact where they like it showed as a failure in their E3 like that you like to mention, right? Like it didn't look good, you know?
No, it didn't. That was a disaster.
Yeah. So to me, I feel like that took the biggest swing. Obviously, like there's some the ones that had like the biggest innovation and they like made history, but like I feel like
Right.
that one they tried so hard and maybe it just didn't land for a lot of people.
They got so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, Skyward Sword was one that I was thinking of. I think that you have to say Breath of the Wild and you have to say Ocarina of Time, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Those Ocarina of Time is maybe like the most important video game ever in a lot of ways, and I wouldn't say that about Breath of the Wild, but it certainly took a big swing on the Zelda formula. I think that you shouldn't necessarily write off. Actually, I'm going to save it because I think that this is going to be my number one. So I'm going to go to another game instead that I want to talk about. Four Swords Adventures, I think, is one that took a huge swing in that, and I would say it was a swing and a miss, but like it was a swing that like first of all, is like the first standalone multiplayer Zelda game. It really tried to get everybody to interconnect the consoles and the handhelds and just like it really put its balls on the line for this idea and this gimmick, and don't know necessarily that it paid off, but I feel like you do got to respect it a little bit for doing that. But actually, you know what, I'm gonna say my number one, the game that took the absolute biggest swing here, I'm gonna say Majora's Mask.
Fair. I think that's fair. Yeah.
Like,
I think of like players like Sam,
yeah,
who she enjoyed Ocarina of Time, and then she got to the time part of Majora's Mask, and she was like, "Nah."
I mean, like any sane developer would have been like, okay, we had this amazing, revolutionary, important game, sold like 7 million copies, which was like astounding at the time, and they're making a sequel, and it's coming out in 2 years. You'd probably expect more of the same, right? And you'd probably be absolutely fine with more of the same, by the way. So like, I feel like if like it makes sense to me, like Twilight Princess is a game that I feel like is more of the same a little bit. And then that's not to be dismissive
Yeah.
of Twilight Princess, but
Yeah, I
like
can understand what you
it doesn't
mean.
reach very much. But like Majora's Mask, this game was just like, no, 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 no. Actually, we're gonna have you transform into like a Goron and Azora and a Deku, and we're gonna put these restrictions on you. We're gonna totally like change the way that the game feels, like presentation wise, like atmosphere wise. I think that Majora's Mask just like was really daring based on what it could have been, and what I think most developers would have made a game like Majora's Mask. It's the kind of thing that like you don't see a lot anymore. Like I feel like yeah, I feel like the Zelda, even the Zelda series is like doesn't take that like after Breath of the Wild. I feel like the Zelda series hasn't really taken like a big swing in a while, and we're almost 10 years on from that.
I'm trying to fact check myself. Um, I have this impression in my mind, and I could be wrong, that wasn't Majora's Mask Eiji Aonuma's like first like producer kind of
He was I
level
believe he was
game.
the first game that he was the director of. Yeah.
Director.
Yeah.
Okay. And that was like his first shot with directing Zelda, I want to say. And that's probably
Yes, I do believe that he
he's
worked
been
on
like
Ocarina of Time,
producing.
but yeah.
Yes. But this was like more like this is my baby. And again, anybody could correct me if I'm wrong in that. But like I feel like it speaks numbers to like the fact that he's been around for so long and that he took that swing. And then I believe he also worked on like a lot of Twilight Princess as well. I just think that's really cool that like this is like my first, my first real thing in it. Like I shouldn't say not real thing. He's been working in it. Just like a
Hmm.
bigger, big boy pants in it. I don't know how to explain it, but like the big boss job. And he took a massive swing with it, and I feel like it was super successful. Like, yeah, it was a
Yeah,
challenge,
totally.
but it was so interesting and so compelling. And I feel like as I grew older, we talked about this when I was talking about it on the Best Zelda Ever. It's just like such an emotional journey for me now, and like I have a huge emotional connection to that game now. And the fact that he directed and produced that is like incredible. So like, congrats to him, kudos to him for that huge swing that he took. He did really well.
Yeah, totally. Lots of contenders, I think, that you can choose from in the Zelda series, to be fair. Okay, let's go to Jackson Leduc again. How about this one, Al? 68 comments, so you know that this one struck a chord. Which Zelda game gets the most undeserved hate?
Ooh.
I am going to say, I'm going to go out on a limb and say, I don't know that any game in the Zelda series necessarily gets, like, quote unquote, hated on. I think that there's like two games I think that you could say maybe get a lot of hate.
Hmm.
Maybe three. And I think that the two games are Triforce Heroes and Adventure of Link. And I just feel like listen, I know that like my good pal Gooey will defend Adventure of Link till the day he dies, but like I think even the biggest fans of Adventure of Link can acknowledge there are reasons why people would dislike this game, right?
Hmm.
You could think whatever you want about the people that dislike them, but like there's very valid reasons why you would dislike that game, and I'd say the same thing for Triforce Heroes. So like those games are the only games I feel like that get hated on, but like I don't think it's undeserved. I think that it's like those games make choices to do certain things certain ways, and that doesn't make them immune from criticism or like if you want to be extreme hatred. That's just
Yeah, I want to say if you asked me 20 years ago, if you asked me 20 years ago, it would have been Wind Waker. Because I feel like that game was revealed and like released at an interesting time because you just
Yeah.
had like Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, and you were expecting something like Twilight Princess, which like that's what people were thinking was gonna be like what it would look like next, and then you come out with the cell shaded stuff, and I feel like going from something maybe a little more serious to something that looks cartoony and feels cartoony. I
Yeah.
feel like I was definitely in that boat where I'm like I don't get it. Like I feel like this is a dumb decision. But obviously now it's just like everybody's turned around on that. I'm pretty sure universally everybody loves Sky or Wind Waker now versus back then. And then if you asked me 10 years ago, it would have been Skyward Sword.
Yeah.
Um I feel like people maybe saw the failure of the E3, had some failure of their own, trying to do the motion controls. It was just too different. It was just too much. It was too clunky, and I feel like a lot of people harp on that. But now you have the new release where I feel like the only reason you might not like that game is just it's just not your cup of tea. Like you
Well,
can
that's what
play
I
with
mean.
regular
Like,
controller.
yeah,
So
that's not
I
undeserved. Like, I get why people don't like Skyward Sword. They don't like the sky. They don't like the revisiting the
mhm.
same areas. They don't like that there is like little in the way of like exploration. Like, I get it. Like, I disagree, but like I get it.
Right. Maybe then I will go back to my last answer. Wind Waker probably got the most undeserved hate because I feel like the hate came from how it looked and how the tone being so different than the last two games. And then clearly everybody's like backtracked on that and enjoys Wind Waker now.
I guess I struggle with this because I'm just like even when with Wind Waker, even like in the forums in 2002 and 3 when that game was coming out, like um if you don't like the graphics, like that's totally fine. Like that's a personal decision, and if that takes away from the game from you, like I think that's legitimate. Again, I disagree, but I don't think
Hmm.
that that would be like undeserved hate necessarily. Like the game made a decision, it made a choice, and if you don't like it, it's not like that is immune to criticism. You yourself will not be immune to criticism for critiquing it, but
Yeah, true. Yep.
um, so if your critique is in bad faith or ridiculous, like okay, like but you other people might call you on it, but I don't think that that's undeserved. I guess I struggled with this a little bit. Like maybe undeserved hate. I'll go Four Swords Adventures maybe like. But even that is
Hmm.
like if you tell me like you just don't want multiplayer Zelda games, well, okay, I get it. Like that's fair. I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I was struggling to come up with an answer for this one a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, that's fair. Like we always say, like every Zelda game is an 8 out of 10,
Yeah.
so
Here we go. This is from Sean, my buddy Sean, who I've also been talking to a lot about this particular game. He's about to mention. Has Metroid Prime 4 raised the bar for what players should expect from the next 3D Zelda game? And I
this is
want
a question
to
just for you.
it. Yes, it is, and I want to. I actually commented on this daily debate. Um, I want to specify. So Sean, he didn't put this in the title, but he's pretty much talking like about did it raise the bar for the next Zelda game in terms of like the performance and the visuals, not necessarily like gameplay related, or anything like that. So it's mostly about like the how everything runs and how everything looks. I gave an answer on this daily debate, and I said kind of, like kind of.
Hmm.
I think like obviously the next Zelda game should look amazing. It should run amazing. It should play amazing. I do like Metroid Prime has very lifelike visuals though. Like it's a different kind of style, whereas Zelda is more of like an artistic style a little bit. So like yes, I think that like Metroid Prime 4 has raised the bar for other titles to look as good as it. But like I would still prefer Zelda to. I don't know if they should chase like the same graphical fidelity that Metroid Prime does versus like just make like the really gorgeous art style and make sure that it runs and plays exceptionally.
Okay, fair enough. I feel like I don't have any weight in this debate just because I haven't played it, so I don't really know, can't really say, but I will take your word for it.
You know what? I was watching Avatar 3 last night and I was just like, man, this Pandora place looks pretty cool. I wish that this planet was like Vuros in Metroid Prime 4. But Vuros, it's just another planet. Could be any planet, anywhere. Nothing
I was
special about it.
I was talking to Catherine. She was telling me some of her feelings in Metroid Prime 4, and she does not like the name Viros. She's like,
A lot of
"What
people
is this
didn't. Yeah.
planet name?"
I like that to me is like I'm like
I'll be
whatever.
honest, it
Like
does sound kind of goofy.
I mean I think it sounds totally fine. Like like is Pandora a really cool name for a planet? I don't know. Is Arachne
Yes,
from Dune a cool name? I don't know.
yes, those are sick names. Viros, like, what are we just viewing the planet? Like, view what? Nah.
Okay. Um, Washington. Are we just washing ourselves? I don't know. I feel like you could do that about any name if you really want to.
I forget that you are goofy with names, so never mind.
Wow. Catherine was not the only one that didn't like Viros, that name. I will say.
That makes sense to me.
Well, fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, this next one is from Josh W. Would the Zelda series benefit from an online multiplayer game? Oh boy.
It would benefit specifically from just sticking Four Swords Adventures on NSO. That's it. That's all we need.
Yeah, yeah. Let's do it. I don't know if Nintendo was like we are releasing like an online MMO in the Zelda world or like an online shooter and like whatever. I'd be like, yeah, cool. Let's do it.
I find that like when you're in a lot of those MMO spaces or when you hear about them, it's just like a very not it's just a very toxic place. So like I just feel like I don't want that in Zelda.
Yeah, I mean, fair. I don't know. I don't spend like a lot of time like playing online games, so like I'll take your word for it. But yeah, I think that's always going to be a concern when you're doing anything online.
When you're opening up the space to just anybody.
Yeah, but like
Yeah.
I don't think that you should take away that opportunity just because you're worried about like what could happen. Like Nintendo already does that with voice chat, or they did anyways with voice chat, where it's just like because we're afraid that some people might say some bad words, nobody can have voice chat, which I thought was wrong as well.
And then they introduce it in Switch 2 and it's just like, dude, we just use Discord. Like you're behind, you
Yeah,
know?
I still have not
Yeah.
used that voice chat button for my Switch 2.
No. No.
Okay, actually, we've got another one from Josh W here. Oh boy, poor game here. Does the lack of familiar faces in Age of Imprisonment impact its appeal? I'm just gonna say yes, and that's it.
I feel like I feel like that's an unfair question because like the lack of familiar faces is because all the familiar faces are in the present, you know? This is
I
like
no, I don't
so
think
far in the
so.
past.
I think it's a fair question. Does the lack of familiar faces in Age of Imprisonment impact its? I think that's a totally fair question because there are ways that you could have added familiar faces.
I feel like your ideas that we've talked about in the past was to bring back familiar names. But like I don't know like familiar faces that we know from the wild era, like it's impossible to bring them back without it being another Age of Calamity goofy non-canon situation, right? So that's why I feel like it's unfair because it's just like it's not something that was on the table to begin with.
I disagree. I think like the question is just like it's no deeper than does the lack of familiar faces hurt this game. I think the answer is totally yes, and like I think like it's an impossible position because Nintendo put themselves there. They did not
Hmm.
have to do that. Like that was their choice, and I think that because they did that and because they were so strict with it, and frankly because like nothing was fleshed out that much in the past in Tears of the Kingdom, that was their own choice. That was their own doing. That was their bed. They slept in it with Age of Imprisonment. So yeah, I don't think it's unfair, but I think yes, certainly it hurts the appeal of the game.
Hmm. I think maybe I'm just taking the question too literally because I just like I'm like they can't be there, you know. There's not a lot of room for those familiar faces without go like deterring from the quote unquote canon. Now, I agree with what you're saying that maybe we should have seen those faces in tears at least with the sages, but like beyond that, I just feel like yeah, my brain's being a bit literal about it. It's just like it's not an opportunity. So I don't know if that's like that I know that when we were going into this game, there was something that you were looking for was like the names, right, of the previous like sages from past Zelda games. And for me, I was like, I don't expect that, and I don't think we need that. And I still maintain that that's true, but I can understand like where you were coming from that that would give it a little bit of notoriety and excitement, something to like that you could connect with that you've connected with before.
Mm-hmm. Well, like even like you take the sages out, like there are other ways that you could get familiar characters, and like yeah, maybe it's just like again, maybe it's like the Tears version of Rauru, but like that feels like a familiar character, even though it's a new character. I think that
Hmm.
you could have done that with other reoccurring character. I said Din and Pharaoh and Nehru for like forever.
Hmm.
I think that you could have still found a way to get some familiar faces from the Tears games into the game, and or you know what, even this Al, you could have just had the story play out with the main characters, and like after you were done with the game, you could be like, okay, well now you get to play as Ganondorf, now you get to play as Hudson, now you get to play as like these characters that you actually want to play as, which make those post game missions that you have actually enjoyable to do. So like there's lots of stuff they could have done, and instead they just went with like the jabroni route of putting in all these geeks who you just don't want to play as.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. I think like I still am kind of like set in where I was thinking about it because again, it's just like you're so far in the past that having like the future characters be like all of a sudden you could play as them. You could play as Riju in this time. I feel like that's weird and would that would just take me so out of it for what Age of Imprisonment was. And just because I also think that Age of Imprisonment wasn't good doesn't mean I think it would be made better by bringing Riju, or Hudson or something.
Okay, I'm with you. I'm with you. I just think like that having more playable characters that you know and care about versus a dozen or so characters that were created for the game that are, I mean, they are NPCs. Like, let's call them what they are. They're just like, they feel like they were just randomly plucked from a
And I mean, I
bucket.
agree with you there. I agree with
Yeah.
you there. That definitely hurt it. I
Yeah.
just don't know where the happy medium is to fix it. Maybe the happy medium is what your idea was, that like the sages would have been Nibiru or Ruto or whatever. And I'm like,
Mhm.
yeah, that was like the one idea of yours that I was like, I could be on board with this. This could make sense to me.
Well, I
But
like,
then that didn't happen.
to be fair, like, just off the top of my head, like you could have had Ganondorf as a playable character. You could have had Twin Rova as a playable character. You could have had a version of
Right.
Beetle as a playable character. You could have had like maybe, I guess, like the Yiga clan isn't a thing yet, but like I don't know, you know what I mean? Like you could have
Mhm.
thought of some
I mean,
other
they were there.
solutions.
Are we talking specifically the roster or just in the game overall? Because I mean,
We're
Ganondorf
talking
was there.
specifically the I guess my interpretation is the roster, but like
Okay.
so like that doesn't explicitly state that in the question. I am talking about the roster because
Okay, I was
that's what
talking
I feel
overall.
like. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. And I agree that the roster is garbage. So, like, fair point there. But yeah, it's hard for me to have that question because I just don't feel like it was very much of an option. If you're going to play something in the past, like you have to have these new characters that were there in the past. You can't just be bringing people willy-nilly from everywhere.
I respect what you're saying. I just disagree. Like Nintendo, they put themselves in this box.
And they
Figure
did.
it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, how about this one? We'll do a couple more and then we'll get out of here.
Okay.
uh, would you play a Zelda dating sim? This is from our pal Sherry. Dude, I think that would be so awesome. I would
Yes.
totally play one.
I would too. I love dating sims. I think they're really fun. And yeah, I totally would. I definitely, I feel like I would stay away from the fish. I'm not a fish gal. So
You would date a Rito, like 100%.
I would. That's so funny.
I
And
know you.
I was, well, that's why I was like, I know Andy and he would go for the fish. So
I'm
it
going.
was
Yeah, I probably would. Maybe I'd go for the Goron. I don't know. I saw Avatar
but
Action Fire yesterday.
yeah.
That was one of the
But
first
yeah,
things I
no.
said to Al. I was like, the new Navi from that movie is kind of hot. Like,
Oh my God. But yeah, I think it would be a fun time to have a dating sim Zelda game.
yeah, I would totally do that. Um, okay, this is from Leslie Jacobson. I'll tell you what. Let's do two more here, Al. Let's do two more.
Okay.
Leslie Jacobson. What do you think of the flight missions in Age of Imprisonment?
It's probably the highlight of the game, actually. Like aside from the regular combat,
I don't know if I'd say highlight of the game. They're good. Yeah, they're good.
I should say a highlight of the game, not the highlight of the game.
Yeah, they tonally they feel weird. I think.
Hmm.
I think that they were not a great substitute for the Divine Beast missions. But I thought they were fine. They were pretty cool for what they were.
I thought they were fun. There was a little bit of it where I was like, I didn't like that I was being controlled. Like you really only get to press the fire buttons, and then everything else is just kind of done for you.
You're on
Um,
rails. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Versus like the Divine Beast, like sure you have a set path, but you were able to kind of like direct what the Divine Beast was doing more or less. Um, so maybe that part was a little bit weird, but I just liked the aspect that the construct could go up and do all this crazy stuff in the sky and fight a Gleeok, and Calamo's just there riding his back screaming the whole time like, "Why are we up here?" And then by the end of the game he's like, "Yeah, let's go. We got this," and I thought that was cute, but
Yeah.
I figure like those levels, there's not a lot of them to be honest. I want to say there's only like 3 or 4 were highlights for me. Like they very specifically stand out in my mind. Like I couldn't tell you any of the levels that we played where we're just regular fighting. Or just like I just know that I like the fighting style, but I don't really remember a lot of what we were doing. But those levels I remember.
Hmm. Yeah, I thought that the levels were good. They were fine. It was cool fighting a Gleeok. I do think that like, oh, in my long list of complaints with Age of Imprisonment, it didn't feel like the Gleeok fights were that like menacing. Like I never felt truly challenged by a Gleeok, which is too bad since they're like the craziest enemy in Tears of the Kingdom. But
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, I liked them. They were good. They were fine. Once you kind of get past the tonal dissonance, I think you're and just enjoy it for what it is. I was like, I'd love to see a Star Fox game from from these guys.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay, Al, let's end on this one. This is from Nick Miller. What grievances would you like to air about the Legend of Zelda? Do you have any grievances?
Oh man, this is like something I would really have to think about. Okay, you go first, because like I feel like I had to take a day to think about this.
Okay. I feel like my grievance is like, did we forget how to tell a good story?
Hmm.
Like, I just like, even Breath of the Wild has really nice moments, and like, yes, I can hear people say, like, well, the storytelling is in the world building and the world itself, and like, that's great, but I just like, from a collective narrative standpoint, I think Breath of the Wild was really weak. I think that Age of Calamity was actually strong, but like the story was crazy and contradictory to what we know. So like we're 0 for 2. I thought Tears of the Kingdom was very frustrating because it felt like a retread in a lot of the same ways that I just like didn't love, and we don't need to litigate that as much. But again, you just have a villain who's just waiting around for the hero to come and find him, much like Metroid Prime 4. So I thought that the story was really weak in that game. Um, Age of Imprisonment, obviously, we've talked about. I'm tempted to say even Echoes of Wisdom. I thought the story was definitely better. It was definitely better than the other games that I've mentioned, but even that I think is kind of like ho hum. I just think like, and I know that people are going to be like, oh, Nintendo focuses on gameplay, not story. Oh, okay, I get it, but like, is the bar really so low that we can't ask them to do both? Like last time I checked, there's a lot of really great gameplay or games out there that have great gameplay and great stories from Nintendo, even. Like
Hmm.
I don't think that's asking too much for Zelda. And I guess it's just like I feel like sometimes the storytelling in Zelda and especially in Metroid Prime 4, I'm going to lump this into there. It's just like I feel like Nintendo thinks I'm stupid and can't follow like a narrative that might require me to invest a little bit of attention to detail into. I feel like they think I'm too stupid to do that, and so they're just like not going to do that, and it's just like the most generic and surface level like story that you could possibly have. Like I mean like how many different times can the story of a Zelda game be like, okay, we need to defeat this evil thing, we need to recruit the 4 champions of each race, and we need to go and work with Zelda to defeat evil. Like, you did it in Breath of the Wild, you did it again in Tears of the Kingdom, you did it again in Age of Imprisonment. It's like, I promise you, I am equipped to handle a different story.
Hmm.
That's one thing
Okay,
off the top of my head.
okay. I'm gonna counter. I don't know if it's a counter. It's more so like I like the stories of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom and Echoes of Wisdom. I think maybe I should say this. I like the concept of these stories. I feel like they're really strong. It's the execution that I have a grievance with. I
Sure.
feel like the with Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom having so much freedom, I understood what Nintendo was trying to do here. Let you do anything you wanted whenever you wanted. So cool. So innovative for Zelda. Love it. But then at the same time, your story is suffering because I can go and see Sonya die before I even know that Ganondorf is like a guy in this game. So like I don't know. It's just like the execution kind of hurts the story for me. Like if I get the story the way it's intended and maybe they give it a little bit more depth because you're only getting to see these memories, then I feel like they would be really good. Like the concept is really good. And then my second grievance would be continuity. I
Hmm.
really struggle with some continuity between like I know like not every Zelda game is a sequel or stuff, but sometimes they say stuff that's contradicting stuff they said in the past. In fact, we'll probably talk about that next week with some of the lore that we're going to get into. But like specifically Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, there's so many continuity things that may be nitpicky for some people, but for me, I'm just like, I don't want those specific things to be ambiguous. I need those things to be explained. Because
Hmm.
what do you
Yeah.
mean the Sheikah technology just disappeared and nobody cared? Like, what do you mean? There's no way. You've got Zelda, you've got
Pura.
Pyrrha, you've got Ruby. Like they would have cared. Zelda would have been like, "Oh my God, it all disappeared. What do you mean?" And she would instantly been in that trying to figure that out. So, yeah, continuity is a big grievance that I have with the Zelda series.
Okay.
I'm okay with things being ambiguous, I get that, but
Sure.
like not everything has to be ambiguous.
And that's going to be something like what's okay to be ambiguous for one person is going to not be okay for another person. We've
Right.
famously
Yes.
disagreed about that on this show. So like I am like I'm willing to accept that. I just like and I don't mind the way that Tears and Breath of the Wild tells its story either. I'm not a fan of like everything that's happening in the present is super passive. Like you have moments where like in Tears you go to the Gerudo Desert and you have this really cool like you got to defend Gerudo Town, which is great, but like I it's just like it feels like it's disconnected from like what should be the main overarching plot, you know? And it's not, but it feels like it is because like you just don't see Ganondorf, you don't see like really anything. You have this. It feels like an episode of television, but like you never reach the series finale or in a satisfactory way to me. I have another grievance that I want to air as well.
Okay.
This isn't about Zelda in particular, but I'm gonna loop it in anyways. There was a I don't even know where this came from. Probably some dude just made it up. But someone was like, oh, yeah, there's a sequel to Tears of the Kingdom called, I don't even know, Tears of the Rift or something like that. The amount of Zelda YouTubers that had AI generated thumbnails that were like, new sequel announced or new details on Ocarina of Time remake or like new. And it's just like, this is so irresponsible. It's so literally untrue. Just like I don't know, like this is like a YouTube thing versus a Zelda thing in particular. But I'm just like, guys, come on, like. What are we doing here? Like you know that there is like no new Zelda game coming out. You're making this like bad faith, disingenuous headline for just like clicks, and it's just like just kind of like garbage content, you know.
Hmm.
Which like I know that I know every single channel or fan base has that, but like I don't know. It's just like come on, man, do better. Like look at this. Tears of Reality. I'm sorry, is what this game is allegedly supposed to be, and like multiple channels have like this Tears of Reality thumbnail, and it's like, come on, man, come on.
Hmm. Yeah, I 100% agree with you because I remember being a lot younger and not as discerning about like the media intake that I was receiving. I am way more now because just like everybody could just lie and you wouldn't know unless you like looked hard enough.
Yeah.
Um, I totally agree because yeah, when I was younger, I would see that stuff or I still to this day somebody will send me that 2015 they're making a Zelda movie post.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Every year I get people sending that. And of course now it's actually happening.
You know,
But it's that specific one that had the little trailer,
at least that
and they're
was
like,
like a
"Look,
joke that had like an actual. I could see how people would get confused. This is just like garbage that someone just made up.
yeah, but it's just like the what my point is that people believe it. You know what I mean? Because usually they just see the headline and
Yeah.
are like, "Oh my God, there's a new Tears of the whatever." And I'm like, first of all, what a bogus name that is. Like garbage. I don't think I've ever seen Nintendo like directly say another title except for the Oracle games that came out at the same time. You know? Like, there's no repeating titles whatsoever. So, first of all, stupid. Second of all, like, I don't know. They just like it's like one person puts out something and then everybody latches onto that and is like, I have to report on that too so that I also get engagement or whatever. So yeah, it's garbage. I don't like it either. And that's what I really like about being with Zelda Dungeon. It's been this way for a long time, but especially with you and Rod. Like you guys were so specific about making sure the information was real and we weren't just reporting what everybody else was reporting.
Yeah. I mean, definitely Rod is like very passionate about that. Yeah, it's just like it's just like cheap, you know, and it's just like, oh my god, like it is getting a couple of views on your video worth like the complete lack of credibility you have. It probably is, because like probably a lot of people don't care. They just want to eat any schlop that comes out, but that's a pet peeve of mine. So technically, I guess, like, this particular case, because I saw it the other day, is in the Legend of Zelda series, but, I mean, saying it's just Legend of Zelda that does this is certainly...
Right. It's...
Yeah. This is just, like, YouTube case. Culture. Engagement culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, Al. That's all I got in the tank for today.
Me too.
We made it.
We did it. We at least did something.
It was, it was a good show, actually. I can't say... Sometimes I don't feel good, and I feel like... re-energized after doing a show. I feel a little bit funky monkey today, but but I don't feel worse. Okay, so there's that.
that's good.
Yeah. All right, Al. Anything that we got to plug before we get out of here?
Nope, I'm good to go.
Cool. Okay, guys, come check me out playing Metroid next week on MetroidHQ Marathon, twitch.tv/MetroidHQ, all for a good cause. So that'll be going down again at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. I'm going to have to wake up at that early hour and somehow play a video game, if you can believe it. I know. Terrible. Pray for me, okay? Okay? All right, everybody. We are going to get out of here. Thank you so much for checking us out. Make sure that you're subscribing to the Zelda Cast wherever you get your podcast. Like it as well. Rate it. Review it. Share it. Bop it. Pass it to a friend. That would be amazing. We would love if you would also check out Zelda Dungeon's YouTube page, where you can see these episodes in full video form if you ever want to. We also stream these live every week, usually at noon Mountain Time, twitch.tv/the Zelda Cast. Coming in a little bit late today, but hey, it's a special day. Give us a follow over on Blue Sky at Spiteri316, at Allison Aletha, at the Zelda Cast. And once again, we do have a Patreon, patreon.com/SPNet. There is a ton of bonus Zelda stuff there, bonus Metroid stuff, just bonus stuff in general. If you like music or wrestling or comics, I don't even know. There's a lot of stuff there. So go check it out. That is going to do it for us, my friends. So until next week, everybody, take care. I'll see you then. Bye.
Bye.
Hey everyone! If you enjoyed this clip and want to see more of the Zelda Cast, make sure to head over to your favorite podcast platform of choice and subscribe. There are over 200 episodes in the vault that will provide you with hundreds of hours of Zelda content for you to enjoy. You can listen to us when you're on a walk, fighting Ganon, trying to sleep, whatever. And if you want to see these shows as they happen, make sure to head over to twitch.tv/the Zelda Cast, where you can watch our beautiful faces talk about Zelda every single week. Don't miss out, and we'll see you next time.